The sunlight is just an instrument of the universe, of God, of life. There's no the sunlight separate from language. Like there's no the sunlight except in language. The sunlight is just a linguistic unit. It's like an instrument of everything, of the reality, of the universe. It's just an aspect or what's the word? What's the word? It's a fragment of the universe. It's a facet of God. It's a factor of reality. The sunlight's just an instrument of the universe, of God, of life. Each form isolated within language, like the sunlight, or the back of the hand, or the front of the hand, or the little bunny foo-foo that goes hopping through the forest. Any form isolated within language, any identity, is a facet of the holy, which includes all of language. Yet is also beyond language, completely and entirely. Each component is an element of the system. Each component, like of a watch, is an element of the system of the watch. Each eyebrow and each eyelash and each wrinkle on the forehead, did you see? Oh, I disappeared the ink. I made it disappear. Each element of the system is a component of the system, and each component of the system is an element of the system, and each part of the system is a part of the system. That's what I'm saying. One cannot remove a single particle from the universe. That's impossible. You can't remove something from the universe. Or if one did so, consider, then that would be an entirely different universe. If you were to like remove sunlight, that would not be the same. That'd be different. If you were to remove the back of my hand, whoosh, up. Like remove the wrinkle, whoosh, different universe. Bam. Like that. It's just like, it's like, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of silly. It's kind of fun. It's kind of a perfect problem. So why is the universe how it is? Why is the universe how it is? Why is a question that the human portion of the universe can ask in words and then answer in a bunch of other words. Why do humans ask such questions and then answer them how they do? Because the front of the hand and the back of the hand shine, and the universe warms up the surface of the planet during the daytime, and some humans like to experiment with each other in regard to socializing, as in talking. That's one way of socializing. This video, the writing, the blog, the talking, the pictures on the wall, the building, it's all the glasses. This is all the, what do you call that? The wrinkles on the brow, that stuff. It's all just socializing. It's all interactions of stuff. It's like the system of life living. And as life lives, it builds walls and glasses and eyeballs and all this cool stuff. It's really cool. And so this is just a bunch of socializing. Churches are just a bunch of socializing. Governments, just a bunch of socializing. Universities, public schools, mass media, all just a bunch of socializing. It's just the universe socializing with itself as a bunch of earthlings. That's what churches are and governments are and mass media and universities and institutions and organizations and businesses. It's just the universe socializing with itself as a bunch of earthlings. So is the entire internet and every library and every unit of language, written or oral. It's all just a bunch of socializing. 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 Furthermore, the ideas or labels of perfection and imperfection are completely social. It's kind of like the front of the hand and the back of the hand. They're just social. They're associated with each other. They're relative to each other. There's no reality to them outside of language. Perfection and imperfection are like that. They're completely social. They're completely arbitrary. They're completely relative. They're completely just convenient linguistic contrasts. They're absolutely arbitrary. A perfect butterfly is a completely destroyed caterpillar. A perfect wood shingle roof is a ruined tree. A perfect steaming cup of coffee is a horrible liquid for watering the plants. So perfection and imperfection are relative to language. Socializing. Socializing. Did I scare you? I'm sorry. All right. I'll try to try. As for, again, this goes back to, like I warned you previously, if you want to know what I'm responding to in the comments of the other person, Pegasian, then you could go and read his comment. As for any pro-diversity bias, because I'm calling what Pagassian was writing about, I'm calling that way of writing a pro-diversity bias. Like he was saying, the universe wants to just make lots of variations. I'm like, whatever. As for any pro-diversity bias, that is just another conceptual bias. Perhaps you've forgotten that the universe has allegedly killed 99%, exactly, 99% of the species of earthlings that it has so far formed into as itself. That includes animals and plants, if not also fungi, and so on. Exactly 99.000% of the species of earthlings that the universe has formed so far, it has made extinct. It has killed off. Okay? How's that for pro-diversity? It's not very pro-diversity. It's pretty anti-diversity. It's very exclusive, and only that 1% is allowed. It's like the 1% political thing. It's like, it's very elitist. The universe is the most elitist organization in the entire universe. Now, as for the so-called new religion of science, well, its belief systems are also presumptive and preposterous, just like those of the so-called old religions. In other words, its models and language are just a bunch of models and language. However, science is ultimately just another art form, just like religion, just a poetic, socializing thingy, a socializing process. Science and religion are both really just for socializing. They're for interacting. They're for, reformulating things, decomposing and deconstructing and reconstructing and then shifting around and, a bunch of stuff. By socializing, I include things like the detonation of hydrogen bombs, as well as mining of oil and uranium and salt, and what else do people mine? Mining of information, like you go to the library or use the internet. That's all socializing. Socializing is not just something that humans do with each other, but it is something that humans do with each other. Doo-doo, doo-doo. I said doo-doo. Did you hear that? And also like dogs and wolves and kittens and stuff, they socialize. But socializing is what the entire universe is doing, not just a certain portion of the universe, like the animal kingdom or whatever. It's like everything in the universe is socializing with all of the rest of the universe. Socializing is what the entire universe is doing, including by forming humans. The universe forms humans out of itself. Remember that thing about God and clay and stuff? That's the universe. That's nature. And those things formed by the universe or nature or God or whatever, they're not ungodly. They're perfect, just as the Creator made them, right? That whole, Christian kind of religious stuff. Now, if you don't, check it out. If you're interested, or ask me, I'll tell you if you really care. The entirety of creation is creativity. Excuse me, I was tripping over my words. The entirety of creation is creativity. The entirety of creation is creativity. It never began. It will never end. There's not like creation happened like a long time ago, 5,000 years ago, or 56 million years ago, or whatever. No. The entirety of creation is ongoing, creativity. It never began. It will never end. Those are just superstitious ideas formed of words, and sometimes worshipped idolatrously. When I say the universe is eternal, and God is eternal, and creation is eternal, I don't mean eternal in some kind of precise scientific way. I mean eternal linguistically. After language, the universe is still happening. Before language, the universe is still happening. Eternity is relative to language. Relative to language, the universe is fundamental. It's older and it will last when language is done. Like right there, see the space between the words when there's no language? When language suddenly comes to an end? The universe doesn't come to an end. The universe is eternal. That's what eternal means. So God is the subatomic and the astronomic and the subatomic and the astronomic and the cellular and even the landline phone. Of course, all of this is purely speculative. I got it directly from God, and we all know that God is quite an imprecise translator, right? We might as well dismiss all of these words as just a bunch of socializing. That's all it ultimately is a bunch of socializing, that's right. So, as far as being outside of evolution, Pagassian, I completely agree with that and wholeheartedly. I do realize that you did not assert anything like that, but people who haven't read your comments yet didn't know that I'm going to accuse you of stuff that you didn't do, and people will believe it because that's how it goes. As far as being outside of evolution, Pagassian, I agree with that completely and wholeheartedly. I do realize that you did not assert anything like that, but you really should have, and I see no reason to avoid agreeing with you on that point just because you never made it. Therefore, I must also disagree with you by insisting that humor is the source of all of humanity's worst problems, except for the horrific problem of sunlight causing the Earth to warm up during the daytime, which is, of course, caused by the Earth's rotating around and around and around the axis of the Earth, like the back of my hand causing the front of my hand to stretch and contract and stuff. So, without the axis of the Earth, there would be no imaginary point of reference in language around which for the entire Earth to allegedly rotate, right? Because the axis is, there's no something that's the axis. The axis is just a little linguistic whatever. Like when you're making the what kind of motion is that? The axis of the Earth. Like, oh no, it's like the axis of the Earth. So without the axis of the Earth, there would be no imaginary linguistic point of reference in language around which for the Earth to allegedly linguistically rotate, which is the cause. That rotation is the cause of all of the most severe problems in existence, as in whatever reveals the imprecision of my favorite linguistic models of how the universe is the way it is instead of some other way. And by the way, the universe is the way it is according to me. Like when I say how the universe is, that's how it really is. Okay? When I say here's how the universe is, that's how it is. And when I say that's how it should be, that's how it should be. My words are the only right words, the only right words. Any other words that I don't use, like those other languages that I don't know, those are not the right ones. My words are the only right words. My words are the only perfect words. If my words apparently conflict with the obvious patterns of the rest of the universe, that's because the rest of the universe is wrong, just plain arrogant and disobedient. That is why we obviously must punish the Earth by removing the axis so it doesn't, cause all the problems. Hurry, everyone, before it's too late.